Hello, guys. My next guest is Julia Van Ness. Julia is based in Brisbane in Australia. Yes, all the way in Australia. She's got a wealth of property experience, and she shares her experience of the short-term rental industry with us. Please take a listen. First of all, I'm an accountant. I'm also a mortgage broker, and I've bought, sold, and rented properties for the last years, a few years, in fact, 18, 19 years. And, I've rented properties, and I think what is happening now is a very phenomenal shift in the way properties are rented and in hospitality industry, where financial technology has met real estate, as financial technology met transport in Uber and in retail in Amazon, Alibaba, and eBay. So it's the time for real estate investors to really take seriously the financial technology that is available in the short-term rental industry, made popular by Airbnb and other platforms like that. Can you tell us a bit about your journey in the real estate, investment industry?
Well, I have not had so much luck. I was caught my husband and I were caught very badly in the global financial crisis. Mm-hmm. We used to have 5 apartments and 2 houses. And we managed to keep the houses, but we lost the units. But unfortunately, it put us in a lot of debt because we just couldn't meet the repayments. And it was really before the time of Airbnb. But since then, what we have, we kept 1 unit and 1 main house. We sold the other house. We kept 1 main house, which is the Bali hut on water. And when we went back to Sydney for 4 years, we had it rented out with real estate. So this was 2012. Airbnb wasn't really here yet.
No.
And had it been, I probably wouldn't have gone to Sydney. I would have just sent my husband on his own. But we found that it was shockingly looked after. And it cost us something like $40,000 after 4 years to put the house back in its shape. And I said, never, ever will I use a real estate agent again. I've lost all faith in them.
Yes.
And so I woke up one morning and I said to my husband, we're going to do Airbnb. And he panicked. He said, oh, I don't know about this. I said, I have made an executive decision. It's going to go ahead. And I haven't looked back. I have not looked back. It was the best thing I've ever done. I've had a lot of fun along the way. Yes, it's hard work. Absolutely hard work. But I've had a lot of fun along the way. This is a business for me.
Yes.
So we're actually renting somewhere else, which is halfway between the house, halfway between the unit. So it's easy for us to get to both of them. And so it is run as a business, but also as I'm a sole trader.
Yes.
I also manage somebody else's home.
You co-hosting?
Sorry?
Are you co-hosting or are you managing somebody else's property?
I'm managing somebody else's property. So I'm looking after everything, absolutely everything. I do the whole lot because they don't want to have any part of it. I'm actually, I just applied for a job working with a lady who is absolutely swamped in the short-term rental market.
Oh, my word. We will come to that bit in a while.
Okay, it's unbelievable how this fell into my lap.
Well, hey, the universe delivers whatever you think of.
And I really believe in that, believe in the universe, big time.
Absolutely, me too. Listen, you mentioned something very pertinent, and it affected a lot of us. I had properties in double digits before the recession, and then everything else starts to get very, difficult. People were losing their jobs, and that meant that for us who were in the rental market, our tenants didn't have jobs anymore. So there were challenges about rental and everything else. And I think in the east of London area, I think there's not a single court I haven't been in. I'm just literally trying to get the property back from tenants. And, there's all these charges and costs associated. So a lot of these properties were lost. As you said, Airbnb hadn't come out as it is now. If it did, perhaps life would have been much, much, much different. And a lot of people I know who are property investors almost lost everything. If Airbnb was around, perhaps it wouldn't have been different. So that is a very big point you make. Now, you are renting an entire flat, I know, apartment. Is that the case?
Where we live, we rent. And then we've got our house on Airbnb and other short-term rental companies, and the same with the unit.
Well, if you own the unit, go on.
Well, when I say we've still got a mortgage.
Of course. But it looks as if you're very excited and passionate about the short-term rental market. If you're doing yours and you're doing other people's, managing other people's, then it must be very good for you. How do you ensure that your occupancy rate is optimized?
I have a look to see what the competitors are doing, but I don't want to, if I can use the word, prostitute myself, because I believe, especially with the house, the Bali hut, it is a house with a theme. It's an Indonesian house.
Yes.
And when people walk through the gate, they say, wow, this is so much nicer than the photographs. And that surprises me, because the photographs are professional photographs.
Yes.
But it's such a different feeling from an everyday house. You might have, a $3 million house, but if it's just a regular house, it's just furnished regularly, it's still just a house. Yes. Whereas having a theme makes a big difference. People say to us, we love Bali, that's why we came to stay in your house, or we like the layout of the house, and that it's so open, it's got a great energy to it, and it's got a great zen to it, and that makes us feel good.
I see. That sounds very interesting. So in terms of calendar management, for example, managing your one and other people's, how do you ensure that there's no double booking or rejection?
Okay. Basically, I have synced them all. So with export and importing from the other SPRs, and that works very well. I haven't yet had a double booking. Okay. So it seems to work well. Unless there's a computer malfunction that I have no control over it. But I've only once had a booking on HomeAway where it hadn't synced yet, because it doesn't go instantly. And I just explained to them, is there any other dates that I can help you with? Because unfortunately, it hadn't synced yet.
So are you listing only on Airbnb and HomeAway, or are there other platforms that you list on that
yes,
people should know about?
And they are quite different. So I'm on booking.com as well.
Yes.
I am on HomeAway, but HomeAway is not really working for me. I think they've got too many problems since they bought Stays. We were Stays here in Australia, SPAYZ, and then HomeAway bought Stays. They've got a lot of problems. And because I'm on quite a few of the Facebook threads, yes, and I see a lot of people are saying the same thing. This is not new to me only. I'm also on TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor, I don't get too many bookings, but they are very new to it. However, what I try to do is, for every person that books the house or the unit, I ask them for their email address, and then I send it on to TripAdvisor on the review section. And I think that's slowly how I'm starting to get my bookings. I see.
So you do actually capture the email address and use that as a tool for communication.
Absolutely.
So what about from inception of an inquiry by a guest to the time they check out? What sort of engagement do you have with the guests?
Right. Well, I am a stickler. I'm a very organized person. I am very much a stickler for communication. I think communication is the key. Yes. And you've got to answer them almost straight away, because they're asking you questions. If they're asking me questions that are in my description, I'll say, have you read my description? Because I think 95% of the people don't.
Yes.
And so then I'll say, look, I've got a lot of information. Please read the description. And then if they come back with any other answers, I answer the questions. And if they're in Australia locally, I get their mobile number too. If they're from overseas, sometimes they'll get a local SIM, so I get their number as well. And I tell them, look, I'm available basically 24/7, excepting, of course, when I'm sleeping. So Otherwise, communication is the key. I do a lot of emailing with them as well.
Yes. Do you use your mobile app as well to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I'm on the go all the time.
Wow. It sounds like, because I was having a chat with someone yesterday in California, and they said, look, they just round the clock texting people even at midnight. I said, well, is that a life? You know, it means you're running the business 24/7. So is there a rule of thumb that you have that says, look, after this period, I'm not answering until maybe I'm awake? Or
Absolutely. Basically, I try to go to bed at about 10 to 10:30 because
Yes.
I normally wake up very early, 5:30 or so, and then I go for my walk. I walk about 40 kilometers a week.
in the morning?
In the morning, yes, on the beach or in the bush.
Ooh.
I'm at the moment training to walk the Camino Santiago in France and Spain.
Mhm.
So, and I love walking because
Yeah.
the endorphins are fantastic. You know what it does to your body. So I put my phone on silent. So and I leave it in my study with the door closed, so I don't hear anything. Because even though you have it on silent, when Airbnb rings you, you can still hear it.
You can still hear the tone. Yes, it's very unique.
That's right. So I close my door so I don't hear it. And then when I get up in the morning, I have a look to see what's there.
Yes.
And if it's really urgent to answer, I'll answer it straight away.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll go for my walk first, and then I'll come back and do it all.
That sounds interesting. That sounds absolutely fantastic, because I think engaging guests from inception of inquiry to when they check out is very important. What about your house rules and manual? Do you send them
Very
to guests before, or do you get them to arrive before you give it to them?
Well, I don't physically hand it over. It is on the websites.
I see.
I also have quite a large manual at home. So in the beginning, it's got all the house rules, the Wi-Fi codes and all that jazz in case they haven't seen it on the site. And then I've got quite a large area which has restaurants. It has coffee shops. It has places we can go for massages, sightseeing things to do and all that kind of stuff, where they can rent cars. I also do that. When I know they're coming in from overseas, I also say to them, do you want me to help you with a car hire or a van hire? So I offer a lot of things. I'm a little bit frustrated the other day. I wanted to get into doing Airbnb experiences. I want to charge 20% for it. And I just think that is way too expensive then for the public.
Yes.
So I'm going to do it on my own. I will just offer it through email.
All right.
And so at the Bali Hut, I can offer yoga. We can also offer bushwalks from there. And my husband's quite a keen fisherman, so he could take them on fishing journeys. What else? We've got spiritual groups that come there, and they do like little workshops. So we can sit 12 people around the table.
I see. That's very, very interesting. So you're very engaging, and also you're providing other services to your guests as well,
Yes.
which is fantastic. It's absolutely excellent. What about reviews? Let's move to reviews, because in this business of short-term rental, guest reviews is everything. A lot of people bend over backwards to make sure they get reviews. Yesterday, I was speaking to somebody, and they said, "Oh, I bake them cakes so that they can give me in return for good reviews." What do you do for your guests to get you good reviews?
You know, I think we go beyond the call of duty. We provide a lot of extras in the house, enormous amount of extras.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of groups where you get the whole family coming together for birthdays, 50th birthdays, 60th birthdays. We've got one coming up in December. She's a repeat guest. It's actually her great aunt's 99th birthday. So when we've got those kind of things, then we provide bottles of wine or champagne and also flowers.
Yes, that is fantastic. That's one of the things I've been doing lately is I make sure I provide a bottle of wine and some chocolate. Some do take it, some don't take it. Talk to me about the things you provide in the house, because I used not to provide salt, pepper, oil, and all those things, although I have all the things that people can use to cook by themselves. Some would like you to provide those things, others just don't want it. So sometimes it's a 50-50 thing and you don't even know what to do anymore.
I'll tell you from my experience of being away and staying in Airbnbs and having virtually nothing there, we like to cook our own food because I live the paleo lifestyle, so I don't like to eat junk food. And I always find there's never salt or pepper, or there might not even be a little bit of good oil and stuff. So I have a huge tray that is just dedicated to all kinds of spices, including spices for Asian travelers, including spices for Indian travelers. Includes oil, soya sauce, salt and pepper, all that kind of stuff. I also provide serviettes. I also provide paper towels. So there's a roll of paper towels in there. There's Glad wrap and there's the tin foil. Yeah. We have a coffee machine, so we provide 2 boxes of coffee pods. It's probably too much, and I'm rethinking that. And coming into the rooms, we also provide face cloths. Now, at the moment, what I've been doing is each guest gets a little sample size of soap, shampoo, and conditioner. And talking to this lady that I'm going to be working with, she said she only provides 1 per bathroom. Well, that means that 2 people can have a shower with that only. I've been providing it for each. Face clothes, I'm going to reconsider because they seem to go walkabout.
Well, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, the other thing that I'm going to reconsider is I have coasters, nice coasters, on the bedside tables, and they seem to go walkabout as well. The other thing that goes walkabout are coat hangers. Now, for goodness sake, why coat hangers?
Coat hangers.
Coat hangers. So what I've now done is I've bought a whole stack of wooden ones, and I've numbered them 1 to 12, and I'm going to see how long it takes before they disappear. It's an interesting exercise.
It is. Wow. So it looks as if you are actually really, really doing everything you can to provide a 5-star accommodation for your guests. Do you get 5-star reviews?
I do. I get a lot of 4.9s. There's always somebody that's got a little bit of gripe. Look, I asked one person, you had such a good time and you liked staying here. Why didn't you give me a 5-star review? He said, I never give anybody 5 stars.
Not even themselves, obviously. So
this would be the guy that if you're doing a building an upper story on your house next door, he will complain to the council, I'm not going to accept this. You know what I mean?
I do. There's
some people you can't please.
You can't please, that's right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So in terms of managing other people, let's assume that you decide to scale your business. As you said, you really enjoy, I can see the passion in your eyes, and you really love it. I don't know whether your husband does or not, but we don't really care, do we?
Look, in all fairness, he does a lot of the maintenance. He's also got he's in the building industry, he's an architect.
Okay.
So he's also got an electronics degree. So he does. Okay. We've recently had enormous electricity bills since we started. So we've changed everything over to LEDs.
I see.
And he did the whole lot. We've got something like 42 LED downlights.
Wow. So you don't really need any maintenance person, major works. I mean, he'll take care of all of those. You're very lucky. Yeah. Very lucky in that respect.
Yeah, he's a handyman.
Good. We'll get hold of him too. Listen, the other bit I want to find out, in terms of scaling your business, what would you go for what they call master lease or rent to rent, where you take a landlord's property as a tenant and then rent it out to other guests on short-term rental? Would you do that, or would you rather co-host?
I've thought about both of them. In a way, I am co-hosting because I don't own this property that I look after. And in fact, my daughter, one of my daughter's girlfriends, just sent me a text today saying, we've just bought an apartment in Surfers on the beach, which we've been renovating. Can I talk to you about it? So she's probably going to get me to do it for her as well. I've looked at the other system. But I wouldn't pay rent. I would rather go to an owner and say, I can give you a higher rate of return as opposed to you renting it out permanently. Your house or your unit will always be in very good condition.
Yes.
I would prefer to do it that way.
I see. Because a lot of people who started this rent-to-rent thing, or master lease, they call it in America, seem to suffer. If there are no bookings or the occupancy rate is low, then you're lumbered with having to pay the landlord the rent because they have to pay their mortgage. And it has to come from your pocket because there are no guests coming in, you know, and that can be very, very devastating if you have more than 5, 6 properties. So basically, I think those are some of the models people are looking at. In terms of tools that you use, do you use any channel manager at all?
No.
You don't use any channel manager?
No.
I see.
I don't have enough properties to really warrant that.
Right.
I don't believe I have enough properties to look. If I did manage, say, 10 to 15 properties, then I would definitely do it. But not when you've got 4.
Is it on the horizon? 4 is quite a lot of properties as far as short-term rental is concerned because it's very engaging. If you, are you looking to increase your portfolio to say, you know, 10 in the next, and how quickly do you want to do that?
Well, having decided just to do something different as well, apart from managing these properties on the short-term rentals, I saw a job come up, I applied for it and I got it straight away. It's working with this lady who has had between 20 to 25 properties. And she's had young kids working with her that don't understand the short-term rentals. And she is absolutely swamped. She said, I'm working 24/7, I have no life, and I'm absolutely exhausted. She said, I'm looking for somebody that understands the short-term rental, that understands what a back-to-back is, and that will help me do some of the administration work. Yes. So it's part-time for the moment, and I'm going to give it a shot to see how I like it. But in this case, I don't have to have the worry. She's still going to do the worrying. I'm just going to help her with her ordering, organizing the cleaners and all that kind of stuff, making sure that all the linen is coming in because it's all on hire. I'm also going to go and do the spot checks to make sure that the cleaning is being done properly. But first of all, straight away, I said to her, it's important. I want to go around to all those properties and have a look to see how they're being managed. What do the mattress covers look like? What do the pillow covers look like? All that kind of stuff. Because to me, that is really important. It's got to be hygienic. I come from a medical background where infection control and hygiene is very important.
Right. And
so what she's actually decided to do, after we had this phone conversation the day before yesterday, I said to her, I think you need to get a bit more choosy. She was talking about having units where she's not making much money, and yet they are very difficult owners. And I said, why do you make your life a misery? You need to work with owners that you enjoy working with and that it's a pleasure to do. So she also had 2 houses where the one person is on the security cameras all the time and saying, oh, there's a girl digging up my garden. Oh, there's a dog in there that shouldn't be in there. You know, this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. So she's doing that. Wow. So she wants to scale and only have 15.
So this lady is scaling, actually taking other landlords' properties, and you're going to be helping her manage them.
That's right.
Why would you not want to do that yourself?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because in 2012, there was something like 100 short-term rental houses on the Gold Coast.
Right.
Now there are 10,000.
That is a staggering growth.
Huge amount of competition. When I started in Sorrento, where the house is, there were only 2 in my suburb. Now there are 28.
Huge jump.
That is only in 3 years. So it is important. I think it is important to really give value for money, get
Yeah.
good reviews, and let the people have a great experience. That's what it is.
So you think that in the last few years, the trend is upwards as far as short-term rental industry is concerned, and there is a lot of competition.
I always ask my guests, why did you book a house as opposed to a hotel?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them say, we've got privacy, it's quieter, we don't have to share the pool.
I see. That is very interesting. So people like privacy.
Yes, very much so.
I see. So in terms of services, you mentioned, car hire and things like that. Do you do things like airport pickup for your overseas guests, for example?
Well, that's to do, yes, I do. I can organize that. I mean, for the house, I get between 10 to 12 people, so I can't physically do it myself. But I have aligned myself with a company where I would send out a driver and a van.
I see.
And then they pay me directly, and then I pay the van company.
You don't make anything on top of it because there's an opportunity to also.
Yes, no, I do. Yeah. I'll probably I add on about 20%.
Oh wow, that's good. That's very good. Yeah, so you can make money from all sorts of angles.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Julia, if you had to offer a would-be short-term rental person or a would-be property investor advice about this industry, what advice would you give them? Because it seemed to be not replacing, but seemed to be doing better than the traditional long-term rentals that we're used to. What advice would you give people?
I would say to people, absolutely do your homework. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Strive for excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And know what your market is. That's why I say do your homework. And then see what do you think? If you have a theme, what can you offer? And I don't believe in the penny pinching, because people will notice that. You're going to get people complaining, I don't have enough toilet paper. Or you only provided shampoo for one shower. What do I do now? I've only come here for 3 days. That kind of stuff. So that's why I say it's important to do the homework. For me, it's going to be interesting going around these 15 houses to see what she does compared to what I do.
Right.
And what I offer. For instance, when she showed me the storeroom yesterday, I said to her, so you provide pool towels? She said, yes, but I charge them $8 for it per towel. I said, she said, you don't charge? I said, no, I don't. I said, I've bought these 3 years ago. They only cost me $20 a towel.
Mm-hmm.
I provide it as a service. And if they want to not swim in our pool, or they've swum in our pool and they want to go to the beach, I don't mind them taking the towel with them. If they lose them, obviously they'll have to replace it.
Yeah. You do provide a good service. I've got 2 more questions and we should be going. One of them is, there are a lot of, like you say, this lady you're going to be working with. There are a lot of companies springing up now, which are solely short-term rental management companies that call themselves hassle-free short-term rental management companies. Would you use one of these companies, or would you recommend that the lady you're going to be working with, for example, look at something like that, because they profess to take over all the hard work from hosts?
It's a good question. When we first started, we were actually contacted by 2 people, 2 guys, and they said, we can do everything for you. We'll provide the cleaners, we'll make sure everything's done properly, we'll help with the check-in and stuff. They wanted to charge me 30%.
Yes, the average is about 20%, 25%, yeah. I
was staggered. I thought, no, I could do it myself. And as I said to them, at the moment, we've only got 2 properties. It's not worth my while. I can do it because this is what I'm doing basically as a business.
Right.
So now that we've moved from Brisbane back to the Gold Coast, because when we left Sydney, we went to live in Brisbane for 2 years, and now we're back. And I used to travel back and forth. I've always done meet and greets. Even from Brisbane, I used to drive and do meet and greets. And people love that. They absolutely love that personal touch. And I think that it is important to keep that continuity.
And the personal relationships as well, I think. Wow.
Absolutely.
So finally, Julia, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? And how, why, first of all, and how does that impact on your business?
I don't know how it would impact on my business, but I would be an elephant. I love elephants.
Right.
They're very strong. They're very powerful, and they command a presence. But they're also very gentle.
Yes.
I'm not sure how this would impact my business. I suppose that's me.
Well, you're very passionate about what you do, I can see. And you sound like a very strong woman as well, which is excellent.
Yes.
You know, you need strength, inner strength to deal with guests, to do all that you have to do in this market.
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. Julia, I can't thank you enough. And if there are any services you provide, or if you would like people to know about your short-term rental, could you give us a bit more information so that we can make that public when we do put them on, in the public?
Sure. Keep in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thanks for the chat. It was lovely.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
All the best.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.